Okay, this is part 2 for the 2.7 video, and what we're going to do is find the inverse of this function here. So what I'm going to do, first thing, replace f of x with y. So y is equal to 2x plus 7, and then I'm going to switch my x and y values. So x is equal to 2y plus 7, and then we're going to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and we're going to get x minus 7 is equal to 2y. Divide both sides by 2. And so I get this new function, y is equal to 1 half x minus 7 halves, okay? And then to write that using inverse notation, I would say f to the negative 1 of x is equal to 1 half x minus 7 halves, okay? Minus 7 halves. All right, and that's my inverse. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Now we're going to go through the same process, but the algebra is a little bit different. So here I'm going to rewrite y equals 4x cubed minus 1. I'm going to switch x and y. So x is equal to 4y cubed minus 1. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Okay, so those cancel out. I get x minus 1 is equal to 4y cubed. I'm going to divide everything by 4. Okay, now I'm just going to leave it like that fraction. I'm not going to separate that out. And so I'm going to get that y cubed is equal to x minus 1 over 4. I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to take the cube root, which is the opposite of cubing. Okay? And so when I do that, that's going to give me y is equal to the cube root of the entire quantity, x minus 1 over 4. Okay? And that's my function. Now, to write that in inverse notation, I would want to write that as f inverse of x is equal to the cube root of x minus 1 all over 4. Okay, and that's how I'd want to write that. Okay, down here in this one, find the inverse of this function. Okay, so I'm going to write f, or no, I'm going to replace this with y equals 3 over x minus 1. I'm going to switch x and y, so x is going to equal 3 over y minus 1. Now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Okay, this algebra is kind of tricky. So I get x plus 1 is equal to 3 over y. All right, a couple different ways on how to do this. Here's how I would do it. You're trying to isolate y. Let me rewrite this up here. X plus 1 equals 3 over y. You're trying to isolate y. Okay, but it's in the denominator. So the first thing you want to do is get this out of the denominator and move it to the other side. So I can multiply both sides by y. And when I do that over on the left side, I have to put parentheses around because this is a quantity. Now I have the equation y times x plus 1 is equal to 3 over y. Or no, I'm sorry, just equal to 3. All right, now what I want to do is divide both sides by x plus 1. Okay, divide by x plus 1. And those are going to divide out. And I'm going to get that y is equal to 3 over x plus 1. Okay, and so at this point, what I want to do is I want to write this as f inverse of x is equal to 3 over x plus 1. Okay, and that's our answer. Now, another way you could do this is when you're at this step. Okay, so let's do this over here. Okay, this is method 2. If you got any room. All right. So I'm going to write x plus 1 is equal to 3 over y. Now what I've got a fraction on this side, okay, and I've got an expression over here. Now I could take this and I can put this over 1. I can do that. And then the next step that I could do is actually take the reciprocal of both sides, okay? And that would give me 1 over x plus 1 is equal to y over 3. And then I can multiply by 3 on both sides and get 3 over x plus 1 is equal to y. Okay, and so you could do it that way too. All right, so just as long as you have two methods, maybe you haven't seen one of those, but that is something that you can do, all right, to solve. So it's a little bit fewer steps than this, but whenever I learned it this way, and that's kind of how it stuck. But then I realize this over time. All right, so now on the next one, which of the following graphs represent functions that have inverse functions? So remember, this is the horizontal line test. Okay. Sorry. All right, so it's like the vertical line test, but we're doing it for the horizontal line test. So what I have, if I draw any vertical line or horizontal line, and if it intersects at two spots, the inverse is not a function. So the inverse is, is not a function. Okay, on part two, okay, notice that I can draw any horizontal line and I'm only getting one intersection. So yes, okay, inverse is a function. Okay, on the second one, or the third one, this one, the inverse is also a function. Okay, so I'm just going to write yes on that one. Okay, and that's it. All right, so that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you found it informative and invigorating. If not, I'll try harder next time. Okay, you guys doing great. See you in a bit. Thanks. Bye.